It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and it wasn't so long ago that I was stood in this very kitchen making a video about Sainsbury's dipping their toe into the craft beer world. Some of you might remember it. It wasn't really that long ago. Well, they really were just dipping their toe in the water because they're back with 8 more beers. 8 more beers. And the competition now in the craft beer supermarket world is just incredible. They're all pushing each other along. Some will say in the right direction, some will say not quite. That's if you're a supporter of independence. We'll probably touch on that subject a little bit later on. But I'm going to start off with probably one of the first breweries that to really make it big in the supermarket all those years ago, and it's Brewdog. And actually in Sainsbury's now, in the Cardiff Sainsbury's that I go to, they've got their own Brewdog stand with all the Brewdog beers in, which is, you know, quite an interesting thing to have. Whether Brewdog paid for that or Sainsbury's really like Brewdog, who knows. But this is called Urban Fog. It's a New England IPA, and it's Brewdog versus Mikkeller. Mikkeller from Denmark. This is a 6.5% ABV IPA. A lot of stuff about Mikkeller and Brewdog and Urban Fog on the side. Probably one of the kind of, I'd say for me, more exciting beers. And I think that's because Mikkeller brew some fantastic stuff. Talking about Mikkeller, they've got their own beer in Sainsbury's, and I think they've chosen a couple of supermarkets to launch their beers into. One being Marks and Spencer, the other being Sainsbury's. Now, in a certain view, they might be regarded, Marks and Spencer's and Sainsbury's, as kind of like upper level supermarkets in terms of quality. And I think that's the reason why Mikkeller have chosen to go into Marks and Spencer's and Sainsbury's. This is called Side Eyes Pale Ale, and it's coming in at, where's the ABV? 4.6% ABV. Mikkeller, very strong reputation, very strong brand. Brew some really good beers. I'm not really surprised that they've chosen Sainsbury's to put their beer into. Another brewery that, now I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have a quick look at some of these beers. There's 2 beers that have launched into respected supermarkets from Siren Craft Brew. And they look relatively the same. I'm just going to grab this one. This one is, of course, from Sainsbury's. This is the Silver Strand California IPA. But this one was launched into Asda. Look at the branding. It's like they've just taken a couple of the colours out and replaced them with other colours. Crystal Cove California IPA. I wonder how close they are in terms of flavour. But yeah, this looks another really, really good beer. Siren Craft Brew. Not really 440 cans, not really hitting the supermarket. But now all of a sudden they have a beer in 2. One in Asda, one in Sainsbury's. That's beer 3. All the 440 cans are £3, and the 330ml cans are £2. Another beer that I'm really looking forward to, because I've had some great beers again. These are being from Marks and Spencer. It was a mocha porter that we had that was fantastic in Marks and Spencer. Arbor Ales, chosen to launch in Sainsbury's. 440ml can, 4.7% ABV. American Pale Ale, brewed with large quantities of Citra hops. Wow! And just touching on that subject a moment with the Marks and Spencers and Sainsbury's, because they are seen as slightly better quality supermarkets, it means that the brand, they've launched into supermarkets, Mikkeller, Arbor, and it doesn't really affect their own personal online sales because, again, people see Sainsbury's and Marks and Spencer's as a quality supermarket. Very clever stuff, I think. Next beer, this is from Siren Craft Brew, and this is their Midnight Stack. This is a Nitro Maple Pancake Milk Stout. And this is coming in at, let's have a look, 4.2% ABV. Nitro beer. I look forward to that. That should be really good. Another company to do really, really well out of the supermarkets, I feel. I never had a beer from Salt before they hit the supermarkets. They first launched into Tesco, then they followed from Tesco into Morrison's, and then Morrison's into Sainsbury's. And now they've even got a beer with Asda Salt. So this one is again a beer from Sainsbury's, or with Sainsbury's. And this is Salt Citra New England IPA Junior, 4.3% ABV. And two beers here. Some of you might remember that I did a live broadcast and an interview with the owner of Hiver about 2 or 3 years ago. We went to London. About 2 years ago, went to London. It was a brilliant event we went to in London. It was really good. But I remember Hannah, the owner of Hiver. What a lovely lady she was. And these are two beers that have launched into Sainsbury's. Two beers being Hiver Session IPA and Hiver Blonde Beer. Now what's interesting about these beers is that Hiver have generally steered clear of the IPA market because it's so popular. Maybe Sainsbury's went to them and said, hey, can you brew for us an IPA? And of course, once the supermarkets come knocking, it's hard to turn them down. They probably said, you know what? Yes, absolutely. Hiver are very, very popular for their honey beer, and they produced a lager, which I really liked. So these are all of the beers then available in Sainsbury's. Quite a nice selection from Stouts to IPAs to Pale Ales. Did we say there was a sour in there? No. All kind of IPAs and stuff. But the one thing I want to talk about very quickly before I go, I covered it a little bit in the other unboxing kind of video from Asda's, is that how do the independent bottle shops, with the competition now, the competition is fierce in the supermarkets, it really is. They are all competing now with one another. And the danger of the supermarkets really competing in the craft beer world is the independent bottle shops, independent can shops. I do fear for them a little bit. There's just so much variety now in the supermarkets that was just not there 3 or 4 years ago. Now it's there. What's that? £3 a can, £2 a can. That's got to be 20, £22 worth of beer right there. I haven't worked it out properly, but there's £22 right there. And if you're spending that a week, that's a big chunk of your beer spending change, isn't it? Does that leave you still with a little bit of pocket money left over to run to your bottle shop and pick up something really special? I think that needs to happen. I think that really needs to happen. Please still support the bottle shops. I do when I can. I get there when I can, and I like to support them because they're so knowledgeable, and not just knowledgeable, they're so friendly, and of course they're so important to the breweries who put their beers into independent bottle shops because they sell lots and lots of beer. I don't know, I think it should be discussed in the comments box down below. If you were to just go between Tesco and Morrison's and Asda and Sainsbury's and Lidl and Aldi. I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you at all, because we're in difficult circumstances financially. There's so much to choose from, just from those six supermarkets, and Marks and Spencer, of course, 7 supermarkets. Such a variety, such a level of choice. But I just want a little discussion about where does that leave our little independent bottle shops and can shops. Hope you liked the video. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!